Hi.
Hi.
What are we going to talk about today?
I would love for you to share with us where you are now on your gym owner and coach's story, where you began, and most of all, how you got from point A to B. What were like the main downfalls, and what were kind of like the biggest changes you implemented that got you from A to B?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not happy about all the mistakes that I made, but I think they were worth doing. So what is it? I started in 2012. January 26th, it was a Monday, 7 a.m. First class, I had one member because that guy actually signed up before I opened up the gym.
But wait, how did that work? How did you stumble upon that?
Well, I guess I posted something on social. No, that's actually not true. He was a relative of my back then business partner. That's how it worked. Yeah, so he signed up before the opening. So we did the official opening on the weekend, like a big party on Saturday. Did like
Were there many people, or was it just him?
50 people.
Okay.
Yeah. We did like 27 CrossFit workouts in a row. You know, all the good stuff, like heavy deadlifts and rowing workouts, like throwing it down. Yeah, and then business reality started. So first class,
And you
7 a.m.
started as a purely CrossFit
Yes.
right?
Because in 2012, it was still kind of new, let's say at least in Europe. I think it started 2008, 2009 in the States. I might be mistaken.
Was that the
2007.
high of Rich Froning and all those guys, or did he come later?
Well, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not the most CrossFit data guy. I've been to the CrossFit Games a couple of times when they were still cool and being held in California, where it should be. So Rich Froning, I think, I may be mistaken. I think he won the first time after 2012, but I could be totally wrong.
Okay.
Whatever. Started out as a CrossFit gym, first member, Monday 7 a.m. class. I remember the workout, it was 10 to 1 lunges and 1 to 10 squats. You did 10 lunges, 1 squat, 9, 2, 8, 3. Basic warm up, and that was it. Yeah. So basically, I had the rest of the day off because I had only one. But the bills kept piling up. So that's how I started. Classic CrossFit gym. That means I did my level 1 in London. The very first one. Yeah, I flew to London, did the weekend seminar. So I was entitled to open up my own gym, of course. It's a weekend course, you can absolutely open up your own gym. I did, and yeah, and from day one we were kind of fighting to get members.
And then kind of like, what were the next big member numbers you kind of got, and was that just purely that people were talking about it, or were you doing ads or anything like that?
No, we're not doing ads. I mean, I was a one-man show, so a couple of months in, we had like 50 members. I did all the classes Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. And well, I think as a gym owner, like your first goal is to get to 100 members. That's kind of the magical number that you think is going to solve a lot of problems, which that number actually creates a lot of problems. We'll more on that later. So no, we went with the flow, and to be honest, at that time, it was more of a self-fulfilling prophecy. That means you open up the CrossFit gym and people just showed up because they wanted to do CrossFit. So there was nothing that we really had to do outside of not being a total dick for members to kind of sign up and stay with you.
And because you said that you actually, it sounds like all you did was work, just to kind of like take a step back, did you have family at that point?
Yes. So our daughter, so I wasn't married already. Our daughter was 14 at that time, and our son Luca, that's sitting over there right now, he was born in August 2011. So that means he was literally like what, 4 or 5 months old when I opened up the gym. Yeah. So I worked in corporate business for quite some time, 10, 15 years before that. Great jobs, earned a lot of money, whatever. And I took parental leave from work for Luca because I wanted to spend the first couple of months with him.
That wasn't common back then, right?
No, not really. I don't care about that stuff. I wanted to see my son grow up, to be honest. And I knew that I would not go back into corporate business. Never. Because I had 10 years of literally seeing every single day stuff that I don't want to do anymore. Like running pointless meetings all the time, discussing the same 3 topics 27 times with 1,200 people. Don't get me wrong, I learned a lot in corporate business, like a lot. How to work, what to focus on, strategies and that kind of stuff. But the daily operational stuff is just, most people are just avoiding work in corporate business.
Yeah.
Just pushing stuff away, and they don't want to get like stuff on the road, and that's just not right. So, yeah.
How was then family life at the beginning?
Stressful, very clear. Because at the same time, of course, we bought our house and we renovated our house. So we were kind of, my wife was working, and she gave birth, and she was working again. I was at home, juggling, renovating the house while having a baby, plus planning on opening up a gym. So yeah, it was a lot of it.
Okay, and what are then kind of like the next big steps that stand out to you on your journey?
I would say the first 5 years is I don't remember much from the first 5 years because it was just like making stuff work, showing up, making sure I can pay the bills, making sure, family has food on the table. My wife is working too, so it was always a back and forth. It's just okay, just keep it open, keep it going.
When did you bring up any help or like a second coach?
Yeah, around the same time, so like 5 years ago.
Okay.
For 5 years, I did every single class, Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to whatever, 8, 9, 30 p.m. Obviously, like finances were tough because like mortgage, and opening up a business, and 2 kids, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I sold my car just to make that gym happen. So I had to take a bus from here to home, and yeah, happened a couple of times that I just missed my exit station for the bus because I was just brain dead. So I hopped in the bus at like 9 p.m., went home, and 9:30 I had to exit because it was the last stop of the bus, and I had to go back. So yeah, don't have to be sad about it for me, but at some point I was like, this is not working. Like this is not sustainable. Meeting it on my own. And it means 5 years of like 68 hours working, no vacation, like 0. No, that's not true. I actually had a weekend off over Christmas, I think. Which is public holidays, so close the gym. Yeah, but that's just how it works. And I think that's normal for the first couple of years, and it's fine because like you go through the grind and you learn stuff, and then you realize, okay, this is not going to work.
With this being said, not to kind of like jump forward, but when you, with your story, when you now hear gym owners and coaches, and they tell you something like, we want to have a work-life balance, especially if it's a young coach or young gym owner, what goes 3 ahead, would you say like, okay, dude, that's not feasible?
I think if you think about work-life balance until you're 40 and you have not worked your ass off, you're on the wrong path. And I'm not saying this is what everybody should do. I think like working a lot, maybe it's just until 30 or 35 until you like decide to start a family. Especially, I think for men, this is where you learn the most, because there's, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Yes, you run your business into the ground and whatnot. Like, you're not responsible for a family, maybe for your girlfriend or whatever, or the girlfriend is responsible for you, or the other way around. But like, there's nothing serious that can happen, especially in Austria. But once you have a family, it's a different story, because it's not just about you or maybe your spouse. You have to bring food on the table, you have to pay school or holidays, whatever it is. So work-life balance does not exist until you're 40, should not exist until you're 40, at all, zero.
And then when you
I'm sorry, again, if you're up for a 9-to-5 job in an office and you're super happy with it, go for it. I'm very liberal. Everybody should exactly be
doing what they want to do, right?
Yes, as long as it's not illegal or you're profiting from others, I'm fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. But if you want to find your purpose, if you want to find like your meaning in life, that means you have to do something for whatever 10,000 hours, and the best 10,000 hours are between 20 and 40. Because that's where you literally have the most time. So thinking about work-life balance from 20 to 40, like it's a conundrum. It doesn't make any sense. Because that's literally the phase of your life where you should invest whatever you want to do, invest the most time in that, whatever it is. Maybe it's gardening.
I agree with you, and I'm just wondering, because we are of a similar age, if I don't know how a younger person would see it, and now from my perspective, for instance, in a way, when I hear young people now talking about like working, for instance, part-time or something like that, in a way I sometimes wonder if they are smarter than we are, because they focus more on their well-being, while when I started working, that was like complete, that wasn't a topic. It was like, go as hard as you can, and it was like, and so I'm always kind of like torn between admiring them and then being like judgmental, if I'm all honest.
Like, judgmental doesn't make any sense for you, because you should be able to do whatever you want to do in life, and that's fine. If you want to be a cat, I support, but don't force others to call you a cat, because you're not.
Yeah.
If you want to be a cat, I'm totally fine. Like, I'm gonna whatever, but I'm not gonna meow you because you're a cat. That doesn't make any sense. So, in a world in 2026 where you can literally do whatever you want to do at any point of the day, you can start studying at Harvard tomorrow. If you want to do that. So options are endless, but I think that creates a problem, because if options are endless, you tend to have a hard time making decisions.
Yeah. That's like the Tinder phenomenon.
Yes, but as long as you're aware that that is the problem, I think you can work with it. Because, okay, if you decide, I want to study at Harvard tomorrow, fine. Okay, but give it 5 years. And after 5 years, if you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. Okay, get your whatever, your diploma or your sheet of paper where you say you're now a bachelor or a master. Okay, get it. Okay? After you get it, you can say, it's not for me. But not like 2 weeks on. They suck, whatever. Okay, start something, finish it, and if you don't want to do it for the rest of your life, that's fine. Then open up another chapter, but close it by finishing it, whatever it is. And that, I think that approach limits the number of options you can look out for throughout your whole life. Because if you give like 5 years to every project you want to take, that gives you like, whatever, 10, 15 projects for life, 50 to 75 years. It's not that much. But right now you can do like, okay, on Monday I want to study at Harvard. Tuesday I want to open up an ice cream shop. On Wednesday I want to, I don't know, make millions with AI. On Thursday I'm opening up a marketing agency and make $10,000 a day. Something to work like this.
Okay, back to your story. So you brought on the first coach. Was that Toby already, or was that no?
That was not Toby. It was a different coach at that time. It was a strange feeling because I should have been relieved. Time-wise, I was, but if you're in charge of something, like almost fully, besides finances, which thank God my wife does, it's hard to let go, right? Because another coach, for sure, won't coach like you're coaching, and that's fine, but it's just hard because it's not about the coaching part, it's you bear all the responsibility. You have all the risk. If shit goes sideways, they're gonna call you. Whether that's about taxes, whether that's about landlords, whether that's about payroll, you're the one who has to solve the problem at last. But again, I could take a small step back and maybe get a little more family time in, like have like an evening off once a week, which was nice.
Okay. So what is the next step on the timeline where you say that was like a pivotal change?
So around, what was that, 2017, 2018 was, I think, when CrossFit got its first big hit, right? So the CrossFit Games were like in full swing, and it developed more and more into a sport, which created a problem for us CrossFit gym owners because now it was not about just, I don't know, recreational training or just getting stronger. Now all of a sudden people kept showing up and wanted to do workouts to do the sport of CrossFit. That means maybe compete like at the local level or even just compete at the gym. It wasn't even about, most people knew that we're not going to make the CrossFit Games, right? I believe I would make the CrossFit Games in the beginning for sure. And I competed in CrossFit like locally and internationally, but that was at a time where like a couple of hundred people did CrossFit, right? But as the sport grew more professionally, so like bigger venues, more TV, more money, that competition level just trickled down into every single CrossFit box. So all of a sudden, every single workout was about either faster or more weight or just competing not only against yourself, but against everybody else in class. Okay. And that got fed through like putting like your time on the whiteboard, right? And that's fine. I love competition, but that was the pivotal moment where I realized, okay, because my people got hurt. I got hurt in training. I got hurt doing strength training. I got hurt doing CrossFit. I don't blame CrossFit, I blame myself because it took me too long to realize that that's not the way you're supposed to train like twice or 3 times a week in terms of strength training. That's not how you train to get strong. And that was the moment where I met Julian from StrongFit, and he openly talked about those problems. At first, it was like the stuff that you're doing is boring. Like you're doing rope pulls and sled drags and harness bear crawl and weird one-arm stuff. It's like that shit's boring. Nobody wants to do that. But I stuck with it because his message was very simple. It's like offer basic strength training to people and don't offer a sport to them. Everything, if you stick to that, everything will get better. The people will get less hurt, etc.
Maybe could you define how you view sport versus training?
It's very simple. It's very simple. Training should prepare you for everyday life and also for sport. That means if you train in a great strength facility, whatever you do there should transfer into you being a better swimmer, climber, tennis player, soccer. It should not matter which sport you want to do. If that's the case, it's a great job. So that means a sport, by definition, is you have to get good at very specific and limited movement patterns.
Mm-hmm.
In CrossFit, it means like 9 exercises. Okay, maybe it's 17, maybe it's 25, doesn't matter. But that's the nature of the sport. It's like in tennis, okay, there's like 6 different ways or 6 different racket positions that you have to learn. Forehand, backhand, volley, serve.
Mm-hmm.
It's not complicated. But getting good at tennis requires thousands of hours practicing those movement patterns. And those movement patterns in sports create imbalances in your body, which is natural, right? Because you're playing tennis with one hand, right? You're always sliding to one side with the foot. That's a sport. Sport creates disbalances, which is okay. That's why we do sports. Training should fill those voids and not emphasize them so you get hurt in training.
Which is a great keyword now, because you said that you saw tons of your members and yourself getting hurt.
Yes.
So what was the next step?
Yeah, so change doesn't come from, most of the time doesn't come from a positive place, right? Because it's not like you wake up and everything's running fine, you're earning a lot of money, all the people in it is like, well, today I'm gonna change something. No, that's not gonna happen. So I got hurt doing my type of CrossFit training. And I thought it was normal, right? And it is to a certain extent if you're performing and getting paid doing a sport. That's fine. That's a professional athlete.
But your members and you weren't.
Yeah, but we pay for training.
Yeah.
Like I pay for training.
Yeah.
My members pay for training, so they should not get hurt in training. And then I'll make money off of it. Okay, so I got hurt, and I was wondering why it was happening. Because I always want to understand why stuff is working, why it's not working, and I want to make it better. I want to understand why my shoulder hurts, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I got hurt all the time. Great. I saw my members being coached by me getting hurt all the time. Meeting Julian, I started to understand. Slowly started to understand why it was happening, because he taught me one thing. An exercise, like a deadlift, and a movement pattern, like a hinge, is not the same. Okay, fast forward 2, 3, 4 years learning from him directly, and I literally followed him closely for 2, 3 years through Europe, almost like 1 weekend a month, almost, because the first seminar I attended, I felt there's something in here that I need to learn, that I don't know, and I don't know how to fix people, so I just kept showing up. At some point I was, well, that's a little bit expensive, because I have to pay like 1 seminar every month, which was $1,000 each month, and I just asked him, hey, if I help you running the workshops or just helping people and coaching a little bit, like
Kind of like an apprentice.
yes, can I shadow you? And he was like, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I was like, oh, I was super relieved, because I could trade in my working power for money, still have to pay flights, etc. But so I spent a couple of years learning the difference between what a movement pattern is and how to coach that to people, and that exercises are not going to fix it.
And what were do you remember what were like the first really practical steps you took, or like the first exercises even you implemented into what you were doing here?
Okay, I was very lucky back then, because I was heavily injured. So that means I could take the step back from my training routine, because I could not do CrossFit.
Was that your herniated disc? Was that something else?
No, it was, L5S1 herniated discs. I had an ACL tear, which was sport related from soccer. So I had to change something, because I could not train like CrossFit style anymore. The first thing that fascinated me was his sandbags and the sled work, because I could do all this stuff with my injuries. Like I had supraspinatus tear in the shoulder at the same time as my herniated disc, at the same time as my ACL tear. So I was broken. I was literally broken.
And what were like really the basic first moves you did?
Semper carry. We did reverse leg semper carries, harness bear crawl. We did stiff leg deadlifts. And what really made it click for me was I could do that stuff. I didn't get it. Like, it was really a surprise to me because that should not be possible.
How did it make you feel? Was that something where after the sessions you felt better, or was that, how was that?
I remember the first time I ever used the sandbag. I think it was at his first seminar ever, and he ran us through. I mean, he killed us basically. The sandbags is like literally most fun. That was the most fun workshop ever in his gym back then in Torrance in California. Fucking really hot out there. We trained in the parking lot, and we did 40-meter rope climb, rope pulls, sandbag squats, and like the first time I did 20 sandbag squats with whatever 50, 60 kilos, my inside of my legs were like burning. I could not walk afterwards. And again, I had an ACL tear. So I told him at the beginning of the workshop, I was like, Judah, I'm sorry, but I think I cannot do some stuff, right? Because I'm injured. It's like, yeah, okay, do whatever you can. And my knee felt so much better that evening. He ran us through the reverse leg. So there were people like dying everywhere and puking, and one just fell into a bush because he just collapsed. Great. I thought he was dead. So that night, I slept in the bathroom, in the bathtub, filled with cold water, because my body was like feverish, but not like sick feverish. But I had such a strong reaction from that intensity, and it was so weird because I could not sleep because I was literally like feverish.
Like wired. Oh, were you like wired?
But my body felt physically good.
Okay.
Like mentally, and from my nervous system was shot. Like shot. I had to drink all night, like water and electrolytes and sugar all the time because my body was like, dude, you're gonna die. So I crawled out of the bathtub in the morning. I was like, I'm so exhausted, but my body feels great. I don't understand what's going on. And then we had Sunday, and like everybody was literally brain dead on Sunday morning because everybody felt like I did. And then he explained why it was happening. He talked about internal torque and all that good stuff. And that was the moment where I realized, okay, I need to change something.
At this point, you had not.
Just check if this is running still, just in case. Yes, it's running.
At this point, you had not implemented any of this into your programming.
No.
So you were still just purely CrossFit.
Yes. Pure CrossFit gym. Weird feeling because I came back from the seminar super hyped. But I wasn't very smart at that time. I'm still not very smart. But I realized, okay, there's something here, but I have to figure this out. So I was like, okay. I gave myself a year, and I did certain kind of his training 3 or 4 times a week. Literally barbells, sandbags, sleds. That was basically.
And did you still also do CrossFit?
Yes.
Wow.
Couple of workouts, nothing crazy. So I did this.
But that was just you.
That was just me doing like weird workouts from the outside for a year straight. I had 2 coaches at that time, and I didn't bring them in. I was like, no, I have to figure this out on my own. I have to.
Oh, so they asked, and you were
Sure.
like, okay.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing here? I was like, well, I've learned something, and I want to figure out if it's actually working.
But that's so fascinating because I'm just now like kind of like living that story with you. When you tell me all of that, I'm like, oh my God, that you must have felt like this rush of, okay, this is so amazing. and to then come back and be like, okay, I'm gonna keep that to myself. It takes a lot of kind of like, in a way like strength. And
yeah, but I had to figure out if he was full of shit.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
you're not as naive as I am, I think. I'm like, I think I'm
trying not to.
Yeah.
So, I did this for a year straight. It just kept getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
I kept learning, just visiting him, did the workshops, and after a year, I was like, okay, I finally feel like comfortable to get my coaches on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, boys, that time, boys. I don't know if I actually said that, but now I would say, either you do this with me or you fire.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the way we're gonna move forward.
Mm-hmm.
This has to be the way moving forward. Stepping away from methodologies, whether that's CrossFit, whether that's weightlifting, whether that's powerlifting, whether that's high rocks now, whether that's any sport you put on top of strength training, has to go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to figure out a training system that feeds into you getting better at whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is the purpose that I'm going to pursue, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna keep pushing through. So we did another year,
Mm-hmm.
just us, three and then 4 coaches, just training on the side and still running like a pretty classic CrossFit gym.
Was that difficult? Just from a mind perspective, that you are pretty much already sitting.
Yeah, I felt like selling my soul.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point you have to make smart business decisions and be like, and I've had enough bad ones, but that was a smart one because I knew I could not change stuff from one moment to the other, which I still did a couple of months later.
Okay, that's because that was actually, I wanted to jump to that. How did you implement
Yeah,
that?
so after 2 years, so me doing it for 1 year straight, plus my coaches another year straight, we felt comfortable enough to be like, okay, let's take the stuff that we're learning those 2 years and let's implement it in the group classes. I was like, okay, let's do this really smart. So I had like a big meeting. We had around 120 members at that time. Big meeting, vision, GREX, moving forward, and all of it. Great. Prepped the shit out of it. Great presentation and our training approach and balancing the body and less pain and whatever. So of course I expected people to kind of
fired up.
cherish that, or at least acknowledge our work that we put in, that we wanted to help them moving forward. Well, it did not exactly go like this. So I remember one guy stood up and said, "Greg, great presentation, love your approach, but I want to do CrossFit. I don't care if I do CrossFit."
How old was that man?
Mid-30s, lawyer, the right guy, smart guy. And I remember the moment he said that, I was like, this is not how I expected it to go. Long story short, we did it anyways, lost about almost 50% of our members in that process.
From 120, you said you
Yeah,
had
which is
that
like
point.
75, 80-ish members, and that's a really bad business decision. Because the meeting would have been fine, right? But we should have implemented like whatever, sandbags and training
Like
movement
baby
patterns.
steps.
Yes, baby steps. But what I did was, okay, the next day we completely revamped the programming. We threw all the barbells out, just sandbags and flats all the time.
All the time, so not just for one day.
No. That's a really bad business decision. Whatever. That was the first time I almost went bankrupt, as you can imagine. Because if you cut your members in half, it's going to create an issue. Because
And at this point, you already had 4 coaches?
yeah, no, we were 4 total. It's like
So 3
one
other
full-time
coaches.
coach, 2 part-time coaches. Yeah.
How about we now take like a cut, and I would like to know where are we presently? How many members do you have?
Yeah, we have 150 members. Gym is full. And now there's a very, for me, very weird situation because coming from that meeting a couple of years ago to now where people seek us for what we do differently. Getting the people that want to build like the strength base 2 to 3 times a week. They don't care about competing in a sport, whether it's CrossFit or whatever.
Is that dude that stood up in a meeting, is he still a member?
No, of course not. He left like
it could have been
2 days after the meeting.
Okay.
He was the first one. So that's where we're right now. In retrospect, I don't regret doing what I did. On the contrary, I think it was absolutely the right step.
But because this kind of leads to my next question,
Sure.
what would you do differently?
Just taking it one baby step at a time. Right?
This is something that you break down in the book, right?
Yes. So in the book, I literally sum up everything that I've learned over the last 15 years about training, and this is actually something I'm very proud of because I had to break it down to the most simple form of training, skill of position, skill of tension, and every single gym, no matter what name is on the outside of your facility, can implement this the next day.
How many years was that in the making?
Well, 15, but once I sat down, it was 2 years. So I started, what's that? Spring 2024. Wrote the first version, a couple of 100 pages, which is a summary of stuff I've learned at the workshops, which was crap, because that's not what I actually did. It's what I learned, but not the implementation. And I threw it all away, wrote this, and this is the practical application of what I changed from the moment of quitting being a CrossFit gym and transferring into a gym that can actually solve any problem training related for people.
That's what you're saying now. And a few people have implemented the book already. What were the first feedbacks you got?
This is what I mean. This is literally what I love doing, because once gyms implement that stuff and they get that same aha moment that I had when I trained the first time with sandbags and sleds, with focusing on movement patterns, they see the joy in people's eyes when they can drag a sled with a heavy weight. The ladies almost starting to cry because it feels they've accomplished something and not like picking up a 30-kilo deadlift barbell and pretending to be strong.
Yeah, and always having that feeling of, am I doing it right? Because with the barbell, it oftentimes feels like, I can now speak from the female perspective, where I'm like, my gaze immediately goes to the coach, and I kind of wait for the feedback to be like, am I okay? Am I doing that okay? And like less about like, hey, how does that feel?
And it's not about, I think this is important to know, because I don't think it's about taking the barbell away in training. It's not. It's just creating a step-by-step plan, and at some point the barbell makes sense. And as a member, maybe you'll never reach that point, because like how strong you actually need to be, that you actually need a barbell. Barbell is great because you can load it up way more than with a sandbag, right? The question is, do you really need that? Because the barbell is the most technical thing to move out there. And it's just 150 years old. It's very new, very, very, very new. And there's a lot of stuff that you need to learn beforehand, before it makes sense for you to use a barbell to see progress that you want to see and reach your goals.
That's the beautiful thing about something like the sandbag is, now speaking from a perspective of someone who is very new to the whole idea of coaching is like I have very limited experience, and I do see though that it's you feel like with the sandbag you know that the worst case that can happen is that someone, for instance, is not able to pick it up.
Sure.
And it's like, but there's not like this huge weight on your shoulders, like
Yes.
being like, okay, yeah, speaking like now literally and figuratively, that I as a coach don't have someone standing in front of me, a complete beginner, and I'm like, yeah, let's do a barbell squat, and so
Yes.
that feels great.
So two thoughts on this. The first one is, if you're only offering barbell training and selling it for beginners training, just keeping it light, I will hunt you down, I will scream at you, but I will also help you figuring it out. Also on the other hand, if you're just offering sandbags and sleds and not having the barbell as a goal to thrive for, I will hunt you down, I will find you, I will scream at you, and I will help you. Because that's just such a human nature, because we love to narrow things down. It's just sandbags, or just sleds, or just barbell. That's complete bullshit. The sandbag is the worst training tool for rowing exercises, or finding the lats. It's the worst. People that train a lot with sandbags, like one coach sitting over there, did that before, you're just missing out on finding your lat dorsey all the time. Because you will not find the lat dorsey with a sandbag. That's what you need a barbell for rows or neutral grip bars, etc. And also the other way around. If you're just using barbells, you will get huge quads and huge shoulders, and you're gonna miss out on so much good stuff. And the book is about how to find the correct balance, and my findings on how to approach that plan, that step-by-step plan, that the barbell is still on the horizon if you need it for each of your goals.
Now that we spoke about the book, where actually can people get the book?
You can get it on Amazon, just Google my name or GREX or book and you'll find it.
Was there anything in this talk now that you kind of like would add on, or where I kind of cut you short?
Yes.
And
No, you did not cut me short, but I want to add something, because at the bottom of my heart, I want to help people, whether that's clients, whether that's gym owners, or anybody. I've trained a lot of people for free that could not afford training. I've worked with people late stage cancer. I've worked with people in wheelchairs, because I believe in creating a place where we can help everybody no matter what the goal is. That being said, I think owning a gym is one of the most important professions in the real world out there.
absolutely.
It's as important as teachers, it's as important as policemen, it's as important as firemen, it's as important as doctors, because we have the responsibility to offer almost some sort of physical education for bodies out there.
Yeah, the thing
There's
is,
no such thing as physical education anywhere. You do sports when you grow up.
Yeah.
Fine, it's great. I mean, as a kid, just climb, you run, crawl, or play tennis, it's fun. But we lose this at some point. It's fun too. You start working, you kind of lose it. So there's not a course, there's not a place where you can educate yourself about how to use your own body. There's not. You can learn a sport. A lot of sports go deeper into it, like yoga or BJJ, where you have actually a high body awareness. But gyms and strength training gyms especially have a unique opportunity. It's becoming a hub for educating people on physical education. And I still believe in a lot of people wanting to learn and not just doing workouts. It just depends on the teacher, and it depends on how you present the topic that you want them to learn.
and I would add on that oftentimes you are kind of like the first, pretty much like the first responder, because oftentimes it takes for people to go to a doctor or something like that, and it's something where you can buffer that time until
Yes.
they see you.
And I have a different approach how I want to position my own gym, but also help other gym owners position themselves, getting away from the getting fit community and getting healthy and getting a sweat in.
Sweating, yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine, right? But it won't get you that far. But I think we have, as gym owners, we have the responsibility to become the first responders for non-traumatic injuries that can be fixed through strength training. Actual strength training, which means measurable strength progress. Not feeling better, not having less pain in your shoulder pulling on bands, measurable strength progress. For me, it is not enough. If you have hip pain doing squats, it's not enough for me that you can walk pain-free after the medical procedure of whatever it is, getting MRIs and physical therapy and exercises. It's great that you can walk pain-free, but you have to aim higher. You have to aim for, no. I want you to squat the same weight that you did before without pain. And that is my job. Fixing non-traumatic issues is my job, and that's what I want to transfer to other gym owners, because not only for the human side of it, but I want to help gym owners to stay in business for the rest of their life. And not closing down because, well, I can't afford to do that. And guess what? The secret at the end, you can charge a lot more money if you can actually fix and solve hip issues, strength related, rather than getting healthy and getting stronger.
We will most definitely do an upcoming episode on
we'll
that
do.
aspect.
And the book is the first step. So if you're wondering sounds all good, Greg, great stories, great insights. What's the first thing I can do? Get the book. You can get it for free. I send you a PDF. I don't care. If you want to have, like me, if you're old school and really old and like actually reading books, you can order it on Amazon. I highly appreciate it. The cool, you should not say the cool thing about me. The cool thing about me is I don't have to make money with this. So I can speak my mind. I can speak the truth of what I found in the last 15 years, because I'm not dependent on selling books or selling workshops, because Jim's running great. So I can literally, knock on wood, a lot of work, but I can literally talk about stuff that I think is important to change for the future of training.
And also, I would love to have people sign up to the traveling circus.
Yes, we should mention this as well. I'm very bad at selling. So I've created the GREX Traveling Circus. It's an online platform where there's a bunch of stuff that you get for free. You get the PDF from the book here. We get a lot of courses up there, a lot of content, first steps. All of this is free. Why? Because I would have loved to have this when I started my gym.
And there are other gym owners and coaches that you get to interact.
So we can have an open conversation about what the actual problems are. Your problem is not having not enough members. This is not your problem with a gym owner. You don't have to get more leads. You don't have to run more ads. You don't have to use more AI. No, that's not the issue. I'm sorry to say, but my product sucked. My training product sucked. My training service sucked. Went okay for a couple of years. Once the trends kind of slow down, once the methodologies slow down, once people just not keep showing up because they love doing a methodology, you have a problem. And now is a great time to invest a little bit of time and money into setting your gym up for the next, 20, 25 years. Because whatever trend's coming next, and there's going to be a next trend after CrossFit, after High Rocks, you could not care less. Because you can just implement that in your training and still have like 80% of your training based on what's it.
Where can people follow you?
At GREX on Instagram, at WeAreGREX on Instagram. If you buy the book, my actual telephone number is in there, so you can text me if you want. Yeah,
And
I might regret this at some
And
point.
on YouTube, where you will find that video.
Yes, and on YouTube. Super important. If you have any questions about anything that I said, just ask, right? I love to answer questions and tell you my honest opinion about the answer. Famous last words.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.